Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. In particular, a warm Scottish welcome to our international participants. The current pandemic may have restricted opportunities for travel, but it doesn't mean that we can't still engage with each other in a meaningful way. Of course, you're hosted today and tomorrow by Glasgow City Region, a region with a strong heritage in the promotion of culture, creativity, and innovation. It is 30 years now since Glasgow was European City of Culture. You may also be aware that Glasgow became a UNESCO City of Music in 2008, building on its reputation as a globally recognised music venue. And clearly, concerts are not currently taking place, but it does speak volumes that the SEC Hydro, which opened in 2013, was the third busiest music venue in the world by 2016. Likewise, the Celtic Connections, Glasgow's annual Folk Roots and World Music Showcase, was described in pre-COVID times as Europe's biggest winter festival. And we have a vibrant grassroots music venue scene. We've been supporting that through emergency COVID-19 funds, as they are so vital to the growth of new bands and artists. All good reasons why Time magazine should describe Glasgow as Europe's secret capital of music. 4 out of 5 of Scotland's national performing companies are based in the city: Scottish Ballet, Scottish Opera, the National Theatre of Scotland, and the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. And Glasgow's 9 city museums are home to Europe's largest civic arts collection, and the refurbishment of the world-class Borough Collection building, supported by the Scottish Government, is keenly awaited. The Glasgow School of Art has produced no less than 6 Turner Prize winners, and Glasgow was home to the world-famous architect and artist Charles Rennie Mackintosh, perhaps Glasgow's most famous son. And given all of this, it is perhaps, we shouldn't come to us as a surprise that in 2019, the European Commission declared Glasgow to be the UK's top cultural and creative city, an accolade that the city and the region continues to wear with pride. As a government minister, I continue to support Glasgow's cultural and creative life, venues, artists and practitioners, but I am equally clear that the council leadership has and continues to be crucial. I am a passionate supporter of youth arts and music, and our education system supports this through our Youth Music Initiative, enabling all pupils to receive a year of music tuition in primary school. And it also does so much more indirectly through valuing creativity and enabling in education subjects like culture and science to sit together so that students can learn in context as part of a broad education system and bringing their natural creativity to the fore. So that is just one way that we are looking to the future. I launched a culture strategy for Scotland just before the pandemic began. It was one of my last public engagements before lockdown, and it took place in Glasgow. And the vision that the strategy sets out of a Scotland where everyone can experience the transformative potential of culture is even more relevant now than when it was published. And the concept of place is right at the heart of that vision. A culture collective is part of that commitment, and we also developed initiatives such as the Creative Communities Programme, which I launched back in November. The culture collective aim is to harness the contribution of Scotland's creative workforce to the building of a wellbeing economy. And the pilot programme has already been launched and will establish a network of creative practitioners, organisations and communities to work together in response to COVID-19, both nationally and locally. In a similar vein, both our Youth Music Initiative and the COVID Youth Arts funding have been targeted towards those young people most affected by the crisis, including to support their educational recovery. And the £3 million funding, which is part of the youth arts funding, is also providing employment opportunities for musicians and other youth arts practitioners at this difficult time. An example is how the G20 Music Festival helped to support young people who were struggling with the return to school in the Ruckhill area of Glasgow. And I am indeed very aware of the importance of education and skills to the continued growth and well-being of the sector. Scotland, of course, has a long tradition of valuing education at all levels, and that continues to this day, with our nation's population being statistically the most educated in Europe. And as our largest city, Glasgow is home to such creative powerhouses as the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland and Glasgow School of Art, not to mention 3 highly ranked universities and 3 dynamic regional colleges. All of these institutions help to underpin the region's diverse creative business base, be it in visual arts, design, film and television or digital media, thus helping to ensure that its creative talent pipeline remains well-oiled and resilient. So to take an example, the Glasgow Colleges Consortium has been at the forefront of implementing the new foundation apprenticeships for 16 to 18-year-olds. Designed by industry, these qualifications support a new generation to enter the world of work directly and acquire qualifications with real meaning and value. And more generally, we've seen a growth in recent years in the take-up of apprenticeships like digital marketing, digital applications, creative digital media production, data science, and cybersecurity. And it is clear that our creative economy will require even more of these valuable skills in the future. And this is something the pandemic has only served to underline the need for our whole business space, our whole society, in fact, to embrace the opportunities of digital. So in this context, I was pleased to earlier this month to announce the launch of a new £1 million initiative to support creative and cultural businesses to innovate, pivot, and boost their digital capacity and capabilities. And I am hopeful that this will further enhance the strengths in our creative economy. One of those strengths, I'd suggest, is in the realm of film and broadcast, especially in Glasgow, which is the home of BBC Scotland, Scottish Television, and MG Alba, our National Gaelic Languages channel, has presence. We are also excited that Channel 4 has recently established one of its creative hubs in the city. There are, of course, many sides to the screen industry, something reflected in the varied activities of Screen Scotland, our national partnership for the development of the sector. In terms of TV drama, you may well have heard of the globally popular Outlander series, which is set in 18th century Scotland, and you may even have enjoyed watching the 5 series broadcast to date. What you might not know is the Outlander production team based near Glasgow delivers a phenomenal training programme for the screen sector. I understand that we'll have an opportunity to hear more about that training programme during this event. So it's pleasing to note that with Scottish Government support and attention to industry health guidance, film and TV production has continued apace in Scotland throughout the pandemic. Where filming and studio bookings are robust and increasing. However, I'm also aware that things have not been so easy for other parts of the creative and cultural economy. And for example, music and event sector that have been mentioned previously. So as the Cabinet Secretary for Economy, Fair Work and Culture, I'm particularly aware of the powerful contribution that the creative and cultural sector plays to our economic well-being. Not to mention indirectly to our physical and of course to our spiritual well-being through helping us to live our lives with colour, with music, with beauty and with excitement. So we've therefore worked hard alongside our agencies such as Creative Scotland to ensure that the sector is protected and that the culture is recognised as a vital part of our economic recovery. And the measures we've taken are varied. They range from support for venues and heritage organisations to support for creative freelancers facing hardship. In total, we've committed COVID emergency response funds to the culture and heritage sector of £120 million, which we hope will help the sector to survive the crisis and to go on to be bigger and better with the future that lies ahead. And I suppose that's what this OECD project is about, to not only navigate the present crisis, but also help to define and lay the foundations for the kind of future we all want to see and experience. Everyone will have ideas about what shape that future should take, but what I'm sure of, though, is that the creative sector will play a key role in helping us all to imagine our revised post-pandemic world. We've seen it before in neighbourhoods where the winds of change have brought devastation, how creatives often play such a critical part in helping to restore life and hope again, in bringing life and colour back into our communities. And this crisis, I believe, will be no different. And that is why I'm so glad to endorse the involvement of Glasgow City Region in this far-reaching international project. And in closing, I want to emphasise just how much we as a government value international collaborations of this sort. Scotland has been taken out of the European Union against our democratic wishes, and that is of deepest regret. But I want to reinforce that Scotland is very much open for cultural collaboration and for business for the mainland of Europe. And I do hope and trust that we will see many positive partnerships of this kind. So thank you once again for inviting me to speak with you. I wish you all a very stimulating couple of days and look forward to hearing about outcomes in due course. Thank you and goodbye.